right, everybody. Ready to dig into some really practical advice for securing more tenders? Let's do it. We're diving deep into Owen Hager's Unlock More Construction Projects article. And let me tell you, it's packed with useful strategies for UK construction businesses.
Definitely. This isn't about just hoping for the best when you submit a bid. Owen's focus on proactive strategies really resonated with me.
Yeah, and he kicks it off with this idea of knowing your ideal client, which I feel like we hear a lot, but he actually goes deeper than just knowing what kind of projects they usually commission.
It's more than just the type of building, right? It's about understanding their values. What are their priorities? What are their anxieties, even, when it comes to construction projects? Are they all about sustainability? Do they need things done super quick? Because if you can pinpoint those factors, you can really tailor your approach and make yourself the obvious choice.
Like he uses this great analogy in the article. He talks about finding the perfect puzzle piece.
And just think about it. When you find that perfect fit, what happens? You get higher win rates, you get projects that are more profitable, probably more enjoyable too, and ultimately those relationships are going to be stronger and last longer. It's about working smarter, not necessarily harder.
So let's say you're a firm that specializes in eco-friendly construction. Like you're all about using recycled materials, minimizing the environmental impact. How could you use that knowledge to really target those ideal clients?
That's where you really want to play up your strengths, right?
Yeah.
You highlight those unique selling points. So maybe you're showcasing past projects, but you're focusing on the sustainable elements. Or you're partnering with architects who are already known for eco-conscious design. It's all about alignment from the very beginning, aligning your strength with what the client values most.
Love it. Now, another thing Owen talks about is the power of networks. I feel like that's a big one in any industry. But he had some really specific strategies for construction.
It's not just about showing up at some event and handing out your business card to everyone in the room. It's about actively cultivating relationships with other professionals in your field, relationships that are mutually beneficial. So, for example, if you're that eco-conscious construction firm, maybe you're attending trade shows specifically for sustainable building materials, or joining an association for green construction professionals. It's about finding your people.
He even mentions creating a referral program, which I thought was really interesting. Have you seen that work effectively for construction firms?
Absolutely. If you have a well-structured referral program in place, it's a great way to incentivize your past clients to basically become advocates for you. For example, I worked with a firm recently who started offering a bonus to any client who referred a new project that came through. And you know what? It led to a significant uptick in the number of qualified leads they were getting. And the best part was those leads came with built-in trust because they were coming through a referral.
Referrals, they're like gold, right?
Yeah.
Especially in a field like construction where reputation is everything.
Oh, for sure.
But of course, it's not the only way to build credibility. Owen also goes deep on having a really strong digital footprint.
Yeah, he specifically calls out LinkedIn, which, let's be honest, has become like the go-to platform for construction professionals these days.
Absolutely.
But here's the thing, right? It's not enough to just have a profile just to check the box.
Right.
You really got to treat your LinkedIn profile like it's your online portfolio.
Okay, so for our listeners who are thinking, yeah, my LinkedIn profile, that's fine. What would you say are like the top things that they should really be focusing on to stand out?
That headline.
Okay.
That headline is everything.
Yeah.
Because it's the first thing people see.
Right.
So make sure it's not just your title. You want to make it like a really concise but compelling statement of what you bring to the table.
Like your elevator pitch.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Your digital elevator pitch.
Love it.
So yeah, your headline, that's your first impression. But then your experience section, that's where you really get to showcase all those successful projects that you've worked on. Right, flesh it out a little.
Exactly. And I mean, really bring them to life. Don't just list out what you did.
Yeah.
You got to highlight the challenges you overcame, the innovative solutions you came up with, the positive impact that your work had on the client's vision. Storytelling is key, even on LinkedIn.
Okay, so we've got networking, we've got LinkedIn, but Owen doesn't stop at the digital world, does he? He also brings up the human touch, which I thought was really interesting, especially, in our increasingly digital world.
It's funny, isn't it? Because we are so reliant on, tech and connecting online these days. But he's absolutely right. You can have the best website in the world, the most stellar LinkedIn profile, but there's really no substitute for building trust and solidifying a relationship than genuine in-person interactions. Yeah, and it's like that old saying, people buy from people. Like, you can have a great website, great LinkedIn, but sometimes it's that handshake, it's that conversation at an industry event, That's what really seals the deal.
100%. And, I think industry events are such a prime opportunity to really strengthen those relationships that maybe you've already started online. It's about building on those foundations,
Yeah.
showing people, like, I'm not just a face behind a screen. I'm a real person. You can connect with me. You can rely on me.
It makes that in-person interaction so much more powerful because you're not starting from scratch. You've already got that foundation.
Absolutely. And don't forget, the human touch isn't just for those networking events either. You got to weave that in throughout the entire project lifecycle, from the very first meeting to the final walkthrough. Make sure you're communicating clearly, you're being responsive, and you're just genuinely demonstrating that you care about your client's success. I mean, that goes a long way.
Yeah, it really does. And I think that kind of segues perfectly into Owen's final point about continual improvement. He really emphasizes that this isn't a one-time fix, like, okay, I'm going to implement all these things and then I'm done.
Yeah.
You've got to constantly be refining your approach.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly. I love how he says, I think he says something like, don't just do the work, analyze the work.
Yeah.
Which I thought was great.
Be your own toughest critic.
Right, but in a good way, in a constructive way.
Exactly.
Yeah, so, take a step back and look at your processes. How are you identifying potential clients? How's all that networking going? Is your digital presence, engaging and up to date?
Yeah, are you representing yourself well?
Yeah, and I love that he tells people to just pick one. Don't try to do everything at once. Focus on mastering one of those strategies at a time.
I love that too. Because I think it just makes it feel so much more manageable. It's not this overwhelming list of to-dos. Choose one area you want to focus on. Put in the effort consistently, and then just watch those positive results start to compound over time. You'll be amazed.
Yeah, you really will. So to wrap up, I think Owen Hager's article is like a gold mine. If you're a UK construction business and you are looking to really up your tender game, this article is for you. He's giving you that blueprint. But, as we've been talking about, it's up to you to take action.
Absolutely. Make it your own.
Exactly. And remember, this is a journey. It's not a destination. The construction industry is constantly evolving. New trends are emerging all the time. So stay curious, stay adaptable, and definitely never stop learning and refining your approach.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Now, here's something to think about as you're, implementing these amazing strategies. Owen really focuses on those external factors that can impact your success with tenders. But what about the internal ones? How can you create a company culture that not only attracts those ideal clients, but ultimately leads to winning more tenders? I think that's something worth exploring.
I think so too.
Well, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive. We hope you found it useful. Until next time, best of luck out there in the exciting world of construction.